Do you remember back in the days of Halo 3 or even Halo Reach when you could just hop onto a match of 4v4 and have a good time? You could play with your one friend who's half drunk, another who barely knows how to hold a controller, and yourself who just plays on the weekends when there's spare times. And yet, you could still have a decent chance of not spending the vast majority of the match being spawn killed by some tryhard who plays the game all day, every day. Do you remember when not almost every game looked like this in the final scoreboard? That's what I wanted to talk about today. Why I don't enjoy Halo's multiplayer anymore, and where I think they went wrong. Now I'm going to be mainly talking about MCC here, since that's the game that I have by far the most experience with. As of the recording of this video, I have 900 plus hours into it. But what I'm going to say here can really be applied to any modern multiplayer game, so with that out of the way, let's get into it. Nowadays, it seems like almost every game ends up like this, with one team completely dominating the other at worst, or at best, your entire team will go kill for kill with every single match, being extremely close in score by the end. It's extreme one way or another, and there is no in-between anymore. No more do we have these crazy matches on Sandtrap where the teams fight over elephants and try to flip them on each other. No more do we have crazy moments where players drive mongooses through the middle of firefights. No more can you even have a chance to feel like a badass even for a couple of minutes. Nope, it's just spawn, die, wait for the enemy to spawn, and then kill them over and over again, depending on which side you are on. You might have noticed that every match of 8v8 you get into, there are usually 2 to 3 players towards the bottom of the scoreboard that only have 1 or 2 kills by the end of the match, or sometimes they even have a negative score. On the other extreme, you often find that there are 1 or 2 players at the top who carry the whole team and have 30 to 50 plus kills in one game. You can thank 343's skill-based matchmaking for that, as it intentionally matches up really good players with really bad ones to try to make the gameplay more competitive and fair, quote-unquote. When in reality, all it does is make the best players feel constantly dragged down, and the worst players get a metaphorical participation trophy in the form of challenges, which I'll talk more about in a minute. On top of all of this, 343 seems to, put it lightly, be extremely out of touch, as they recently released a video on the Halo YouTube channel where one of the developers stated that Halo's multiplayer is competitive at its core, and that competitiveness is, and I quote, in Halo's DNA, going as far back to Halo 1. This couldn't be further from the truth for the vast majority of normal players. The most fun I've ever had with Halo has never been in a super sweaty 4v4 match or some other competitive BS. It's been in custom games fighting off a horde of zombies and infection on a massive city map, or in Forge mode crushing my unsuspecting friend with a tank, or, as I said earlier, Sandtrap with 2 elephants flipping over in the center of the map during a chaotic match of Capture the Flag. It's not about competitiveness or MLG bullshit for the vast majority of the fanbase, and to assert that it is in such a way is not only blatantly wrong, but also extremely arrogant. But we see that arrogance a lot from 343, so why should we even be surprised? Now back to what I was starting to talk about before. Challenges, and more so than just the challenges, the whole progression system of not only MCC, but Halo Infinite, and going back to 2015, Halo 5 as well. Why is the entire thing based off of grinding? Whether it was grinding for rec packs or these arbitrary challenges, the battle pass system, whatever it is, it's constant grinding, doing the same tasks over and over and over again with no room for variation or creativity or any kind of fun, really. Remember in Halo 3 when we unlocked armor solely based on achievements that you only had to do once to get stuff? Sure, some of those achievements were quite hard, but then they made that special piece of armor that you got worth it, and it meant something. Now all they have is this grindy battle pass system in Infinite and a challenge system in MCC that forces you to grind over the same game modes again and again. Who wants to even do a lot of these challenges, like the one to complete and win games in the competitive playlist on MCC? No one. You know how I know that? Because those playlists are completely dead. Even at peak times, you still can't get a match on them. And why does 343 think it's a good idea to make challenges the only way to unlock stuff in MCC, and then make it so that you're forced to play a game the certain way? You're forced to play campaign, or you're forced to play firefight, or you're forced to play competitive multiplayer, or social multiplayer, or whatever. MCC has an absurd amount of content from campaign to forge to customs to multiplayer and firefight, yet the challenges make it so that you can't actually play what you want to play if you also want to unlock the absurd amount of cosmetics in this game. I don't want to play 7 matches of Halo 3 with its broken-ass hit detection every week. I don't want to play Halo 4 either, or whatever. As far as what a player does or doesn't want to play, I understand that this is subjective to each individual. Maybe some people don't mind Halo 3's broken hit detection 8 years after the game launched. Maybe some people enjoy playing Halo 4 as a form of BDSM torture, to each their own, right? But why does 343 force people into playing things they may not want to? Not to mention, there's so much filler in the challenge system with all each season. I mean, the whole structure of it is just terrible. I mean, to unlock some of the most basic armors, you have to get 80 plus season points because you have to work through each individual tier. That's hours and hours of time to get a frickin' helmet or a different shade of red for your visor. It's beyond stupid. Add to this the fact that they're going to be adding microtransactions to this game, which really is no surprise because nobody wants to face the grind of this game that practically requires you to treat it as a part-time job if you want to keep up with all the unlocks. It's just unbelievable the sheer amount of apathy and mismanagement that 343 repeatedly displays towards these games, especially on the multiplayer and progression side of things. Now, I am aware that 343 is planning to give people season points for leveling up at some point. That's the key phrase, at some point. They haven't specified when, and not for nothing, it's far too little, far too late. While I think it's a step in the right direction, this game has had a progression system since 2019. On top of all of this, still, the challenges in their current form need to go. In reality, 343 needs to go, but I don't have high hopes for that. The reality is that 343 over the last 10 years have consistently defaced and degraded this franchise so much to the point that it was once on top of all gaming, well now it's the laughingstock. I was watching a video the other day and the guy who made the video made a great point. The only people you still see defending 343's actions are people that still actively follow and play these games. It's like they're in their own little echo chamber. Nobody outside of this community defends it anymore, and there's a reason for that. 343 has ruined this franchise in more ways than one, and there are literally thousands and thousands, if not millions, of ex-Halo players out there that would love for there to be another good Halo game with some proper support and some positive treatment of its community. And if that happened, these ex-players would come back and spend their hard-earned money on this franchise again, but due to 343's dripping levels of incompetence, greed, and lack of any real attempt to listen to the Halo community at large, it won't ever happen. I've lost all faith in this franchise at this point for these reasons, and for the sake of my time and I guess mental health, I have to walk away from it, at least from the multiplayer side of things. Like I said, between the bullshit, grindy progression system and the constant forced over-competitiveness of this game, it's not a relaxing activity anymore. I play games to be entertained, I play games to enjoy it and to relax and to get away from everything else in life and to just chill out, and yet it feels like a constant tense, like, almost passive-aggressive system that they've got going on. In reality, like I said before, 343 needs to go. They don't deserve any more chances, and I'm tired of hearing from the corporate fanboys, back away from the multi-billion-dollar company, and, oh, well, the toxic fan base makes it so hard to work at 343. No, 343, and only 343, has made it hard on themselves. They deserve the blame for this, and we all need to walk away. But that's all I have to say for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe for more content. I'll have loads more coming out soon, including Ravenfield mod videos, some Halo Wars mods, and other stuff. I just got myself a new mic that I'm kind of trying to figure out how to use, but I've been feeling a bit under the weather lately, so that's why uploads have been a bit slower recently, so I apologize for that. That being said, I hope you guys did enjoy. Thanks for watching again, and as always, have a great day, and stay safe. Goodbye, guys.